joins us live now tonight. Dylan, just this past April, Governor Polis signed the Reproductive Health Equity Act into law.
Yeah, Karen, when it comes down to that act, it actually gave every pregnant woman the right to choose to continue their pregnancy or to have an abortion. And states that a fertilized egg, embryo, or fetus does not have an independent right here in Colorado. Now, the measure passed after 24 hours of debate in the state house, while other states may see drastic changes after today's ruling. For now, Colorado's rules surrounding abortion are staying set.
We've had a few weeks to mull this leaked decision, and it shouldn't be a surprise that this is coming.
Although Americans knew that Roe v. Wade was going to be overturned, many Coloradans were still shocked by Friday's ruling. While the decision will impact access to abortions in other states, here in Colorado, likely nothing will change.
With this decision here in Colorado, they shouldn't have anything to worry about.
Colorado is one of many states that has laws that protect access to most abortions, and the Supreme Court ruling doesn't change that.
The state legislature passed the Reproductive Equity Act, which will allow for and retain the right for abortion here in Colorado.
But many neighboring states will see changes, most imposing significant restrictions moving forward.
We're really surrounded, with the exception of New Mexico, with states that either have trigger laws or states that are likely to reduce or restrict access to abortion and perhaps outright ban them.
Colorado allows visitors from other states to seek abortions in the Centennial State.
We will see probably more and more folks seeking abortions here in Colorado.
Unless Colorado voters change local laws, our abortion laws are here to stay. However, it isn't impossible at the federal level for the Supreme Court to one day reverse their reversal.
As time goes on and other presidents have opportunities to appoint Supreme Court justices, we may see a reversal. It won't happen anytime soon.
Now, there are many Coloradans here who are opponents of abortion rights and are hoping to change Colorado's laws to be more restrictive. Now, that would take a ballot measure and more, meaning that for now, the Supreme Court's ruling doesn't impact our state as much as it does for many of our neighbors.
Well, Dylan, a discussion we'll continue to have. All right, thanks so much. We appreciate your reporting. We talked to Planned Parenthood of the Rocky Mountains and was told it will continue to serve women from states where abortion rights are being restricted. The organization also tells us it has already seen an 800% increase in patients coming to its clinics from out of state here, and that number expected to grow. The biggest influx, women from Texas, which last year passed what was considered the nation's most restrictive ban on the procedure. 50% of the organization's abortion patients are now women from Texas. We will have more on this story tonight on CBS 4 News coming up at 6 o'clock. There are many organizations that have waited for this day to come. Today we talked to Brittany Vesley, who is the executive director of the Colorado Catholic Conference. She had a message for those who have supported this change.
This is a pivotal day. It's the turning of the tide for a culture of life and fostering a culture of life, both nationally and in the state of Colorado. Hopefully we can now turn our attention to Colorado and start fostering a culture of life here and overturn Rhea as well.
CBS News polling taken just last month showed 2/3 of Americans said they wanted Roe v. Wade kept in place. 35% were in favor of overturning it. And when it comes to the matter being left up to the states, the majority also saying that they want abortion to be legal in their state. So here in Colorado, reaction among our elected lawmakers, mostly along party lines on this issue. Rick Salinger continues our team coverage tonight. Rick, lawmakers from both parties speaking out today after the ruling's announcement.
There is a lot of speaking out today, Karen. We are in front of the state capitol where I would say there are about 150 or people or more demonstrating here against the Supreme Court decision, a ruling that's going to have an historic impact around the country.
Abortion is healthcare!
It didn't take long for opponents of the decision to gather on the Colorado Capitol steps, declaring it a dark day and predicting a return to the days of illicit abortions. But the Supreme Court ruling was praised by others, including conservative Colorado Congresswoman Lauren Boebert.
A few years from now, we will have little children smiling and running, going into schools and playing on playgrounds who may have not been here.
On the other side, Secretary of State Jenna Griswold wrote, "I'm devastated and outraged, calling it an injustice and a tragedy." while Colorado Congressman Ken Buck said the High Court made the right decision, overturning a tragic abortion mandate that has cost over 73 million unborn babies their lives. One of the justices in the majority was Neil Gorsuch of Boulder County, appointed by former President Trump. While Colorado will still permit abortions, Congresswoman Diana DeGette noted that not all women will be able to come here.
Some of the states will pass legislation that goes so far as to say that women cannot travel across state lines to other states to be able to get the health care they need.
She and others called the overturning of Roe versus Wade a gut punch, while others hailed it. This demonstration has been going on ever since the Supreme Court issued its ruling and has been growing in size since the day has worn on. Another one is scheduled for 6 o'clock, sponsored by Planned Parenthood, the women's health care provider. Live at the Capitol, Rick Salinger covering Colorado First.